Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going over the early MLB main slate for today on DraftKings. Before we continue though, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. And I hope you guys did really well in MLB last night. I think that was one of my best slates of the year. Alright, I'm holding off first place right now. I got 188, I'm up by 30, so one of my best nights of the year. Just happened, everything kind of went well. Had a lot of Zach Greinke, Leo Teheran, like I had in the video, and Michael Brantley. So that was a really good core to roll with. So very happy with how that worked out. I hope you guys had a good night as well. And also, if you want access to this cheat sheet and the pitching model and the hitting model and the position by position, and also do a daily article, and then I also have I do who's gonna be chalk. I do my favorite cash game pairings and home run calls for cheap, mid range, and high end. So if you want access to all this and projections, you can hit the link in the description below for the Patreon, and you can also join in on Slack chat as well. I have that all available on Patreon. I think it's a pretty good value. So just for an example of what this looks like, I'll show you the pictures for tomorrow. So as you can see, it's got the whole sheet on here. It's too early for Vegas data, so that's going to be empty, but I mean, let's just take a quick example here of Max Scherzer and Max Fried. Those are my two favorite pitchers for tomorrow, just based on price. As you can see, they have pretty good numbers. Max Scherzer are obviously being the best with his 34% K rate, low walk rate, just insanely good numbers. And then Max Fried, he's sitting there at 6,500 in the great matchup versus Miami. He's got respectable numbers. He's not an elite pitcher or anything, but he shouldn't be 6,500 versus Miami. And then if we go over here, we have how their matchup is. So as you can see, it's a pretty good matchup for Fried. You're going to see a lot of green for him. Lowest team ISO on the slate for Miami. Lowest team MOBA, lowest WRC plus. So it's a fantastic matchup. And the Braves are going to be a heavy favorite tomorrow. I know I don't have the Vegas set in there yet, but I did take a look at another website, and they should be a pretty good favorite tomorrow. I do expect them to score some runs. So he's coming in as my favorite value play of the slate. I'm projected for like 19 points. So I do like Fried a lot. And then obviously Max Scherzer, have him projected for 27. He's the obvious number one play at pitcher, just from a raw projection standpoint. So this is an example of what you'd get. This is just the pitching example. So anyway, let's get into. I don't think Trevor Williams is pitching tomorrow. That's why he has a bunch of NAs. So I'm just going to take that out right now. Okay. So, and if you get access to that, if you get the link in the description below, it'll take you to this page, and you can have your choice of UFC, PGA, NASCAR, Daytona tomorrow. So I already have all the content out for Daytona, so that's all on there. So I'd recommend checking that out. I got projections for that as well, and a bunch of other good stuff, and also the Slack chat. And we have UFC, big UFC day tomorrow. So tomorrow's gonna be action packed. We got two main slates for MLB. We got UFC. We got golf going on. We got NASCAR. So it's a huge card. Andrew's been killing UFC for us. We got projections on there. He's been cashing his example cash lineup at near 90%. I think it's like 86% this season. So that's insane. So, but you can get on Slack, ask him all the questions you want. There's a lot of good stuff on there. He's got his favorite bets on there as well. And then MLB, like I just said, NFL, I'm already working on the NFL sheet. I'm going to make that $10. But if you just want the all sports access, I think that's an amazing value at $20 for all the sports. Was it like 5 sports? So you can get access to that as well. So enough of the commercial. Trying to make that quick. And plugging, enough of the commercial and plugging. Let's get into this, into the slate, because that's why you guys are here. As soon as I get back to the cheat sheet. All right. So SP1 for me is going to be Max Scherzer. We already went over that, but he's 12,200, and it's simple. I see Max Scherzer on a slate, and I take my 30 to 40 points. He gets me almost every single time. Also, he just had a baby. I saw on, I think, Instagram. It doesn't matter. But so if you want some new baby narrative, maybe he's got some extra motivation to play well for new baby. So do like Max Scherzer a lot. And then Max Fried at 6,500, just like the Teheran play last night. They're pretty much the same price. I think 100 off. He's just too cheap for someone with a 3.45 xFIP and a high ground ball rate versus awful Miami team. I do think he should be able to get the win. So definitely like Max Fried a lot. Willing to go back to the cheap Atlanta Braves pitcher well versus the Marlins. And then Rick Porcello at 7,300. Another fellow Tiger with Max Scherzer. But Rick isn't a guy I'm too fond of. I tend to actually stack against him a lot with lefties. But he's much better versus righties, and the Tigers are a dream matchup for him. Although, I mean, he's not like elite versus righties or anything, but it's a better matchup for Rick, so I don't think it's a terrible spot. I'd much rather go down to Fried and save some salary, and I do think there's less risk there. But Porcello is more of a GPP option. And then at catcher, we have Christian Vasquez at 4,300. So here we go again with the Red Sox versus Jordan Zimmerman. He doesn't generate a lot of strikeouts, and this lineup should be able to square him up and maybe get double-digit runs. That Detroit bullpen is awful, worst on the entire league. So I definitely like Vasquez. And then Tyler Flowers at 3,800. I like the Brave stack here, especially the righties versus Caleb Smith. And Flowers has always been someone I like to use versus lefties. And then Sandy Leon, the other Red Sox catcher, just whoever gets into the lineup. I think both were in the lineup tonight, but whoever's in it, cheap punt versus Zim if he makes the lineup, Leon. So don't mind if you want to go with him and save some salary. And then he's probably going to be hitting ninth, but I like that whole Red Sox lineup. And then at first base, we have Carlos Santana, 5,100. Desclafani is an easy guy to break down. Stack the lefties up and avoid the righties. And really, I can't think of a much worse matchup than the Indians for Desclafani because they have a ton of lefties. So I do like the Indians today. And then Dietrich and Votto, 4K. I love Bieber. I'm an Indians fan, and I think you guys know that. But he's been amazing this year, but he still struggles with lefty power. And since he has some lefties that could bother him, like Dietrich, Votto, and some other guys you'll see here. And plus, it's a great park for hitting, so, fly balls can easily turn into cheap home runs here. And then Jake Bauers at 3,500, just a cheap lefty from the Tribe versus Desclafani. Second base, we have Jason Kipnis at 3,600. Should be betting cleanup and just another lefty versus Desclafani in this great hitter's park. Scooter Gennett, 3,300. Common theme of lefties in this game, but same reasons as Votto and Dietrich. I know he's injured right now, but I did read he could be coming back tomorrow, so I do like Scooter Breeze in the lineup. And then Ozzy Albies at 4,400. He's elite versus left-handed pitching with a 241 ISO and a 438 WOBA. And Smith is also giving him a 200 plus ISO versus righties and a ton of hard contact this season. So I do like the Braves righties here a lot, and I do like Ozzy Albies. Although I know his spot in the batting order isn't too well, but I'm willing to take a chance on that. And then at third base we have Rafael Devers at 5,600. I played him tonight, and I know I didn't have him on the sheet yesterday, but I did like the entire Red Sox stack, so I just went 1 through 4 and then used Chavez as well. But he got a nice home run, a really low ownership, and he always tends to be lower owned. I know he's priced to the moon here, which I don't like, but I do like the lefties versus Zimmerman, and this is an elite option, but the price is steep, like I said. But Devers is crushing righties this season, and he always seems to be lower owned. And then still third base. Josh Donaldson, 4,100. Same reasons as always. And I do like the stack, especially after they burned people last night. Last time I looked, they had 0 runs. That was in the ninth inning. So I can't imagine they did really much else. So I know some people were high on the Braves. I know Vegas was, I think. But I wasn't too high on the Braves yesterday. But I think this is a nice bounce back spot for them. And then J Ram at 4,400. Sorry to sound redundant here, but same reasons as all the other Indians lefties. Just want the lefties versus Desclafani. And then shortstop, Frankie Lindor. You guys know why I like Frankie Lindor. And then Trey Turner and Bogarts, if we're really spending up. Both are expensive, but for Trey, I like him better versus righties and his insane stolen base upside. For Xander, you can just leave him. You can't just leave him off of the full Red Sox stacks, as he proved tonight. He hit a 3-run bomb in the top of the 8th inning. So do like him. And then Nico Goodrum at 3,800. I know I have some interest in Porcello, but he's not totally off the hook here. Lefties can really get to him, and he's one of the few ones we have in this lineup. And then in the high-end outfield, Juan Soto at 5,300. Sparky is getting murdered by lefties this season, allowing a 325 ISO. And I do like the idea of loading up on some Nats, especially the lefties here, but I also don't mind the righties either. And then Mookie and JD, obvious options at 5K. Mookie's been much better versus righties this season. As I showed you guys yesterday, he's got like an 087 ISO versus lefties. So he hasn't been too good, but I mean, he had a pretty good game last night. So I do like him. And JD can match off of anyone, especially versus a guy like Zimmerman, who does not miss a lot of bats. So don't have to worry too much about JD swinging and missing here. And then Ronald Acuna, 5,200. If I like the Braves, I have to like Acuna. He's their best player, and he's one of the best in the league versus lefties with elite numbers all around. And then in the mid-range, we have not a lot in the mid-range I like, so it's kind of like a lower mid-range. We have Benintendi if he's in lineup, 4,300. I imagine he is, versus the righty. He's been cold and got dumped in the order, but he's still on an elite offense in the lefty versus Zimmerman. Adam Eaton, he's one of my favorite plays on the slate just based off price, because we are paying up for max, although we can go down to Fried. We're still going to need to save some salary a little bit. And I like the lefties versus Spark. What's his name? Sparkman? Yeah. I just usually call him Sparky. But Jackie Bradley at 3,900, just lefty versus Zimmerman. And then in the value outfield, we have Jake Bowers. We already went over him. Jesse Winker, 3,700. Another lefty target versus the Biebs. By no means do I really want to stack against Bieber, but I do like some one-offs versus him to get some cheap homers. And then, what's his name? Victor Reyes, I believe. I know it starts with a V. And then Kristen Stewart, and they're both low 3K range, and they're cheap lefties on the Tigers versus Porcello. And then if we go to some of the core plays, I got Max Scherzer and Fried. That's my favorite. That's my favorite combo for tomorrow. Just you get the high upside with Scherzer, and you also get the safety and the value with Fried as in a good matchup. And he's just too cheap in my opinion. And then Adam Eaton, because we're gonna need some value. I do like him a lot at 3,900. Just a good way to get cheap exposure to the Nat stack without breaking the bank. The top stacks for me are going to be the Red Sox, the Nationals, the Braves, and the Indians lefties. And then I'll fill out the yellow stuff for those of you who are on Patreon. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video. I'll make a video later on, probably in the morning, for the main late slate at 7 o'clock, because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I gotta go to bed. So, anyway, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16 if you want to join in on Patreon. That'll be in the link in the description below. And I wish you guys the best of luck.